What if the secret to youth was forgotten? A movement older than humanity itself. As natural as breathing, yet neglected today. No machines, no gyms, no endless routines. Just your body, gravity, and pure intention. A ritual hidden in every child's posture. The gesture of life, strength, and freedom. We all knew it once. Now, most ignore it. The truth, losing it is more dangerous. Because when we forget it, aging accelerates. Stiffness replaces flow. Pain replaces freedom. Independence fades into silent dependency. But the answer has always been within. A forgotten key to vitality and resilience. A practice coded into our very design. The deep squat, the body's original wisdom. Called the most powerful anti-aging exercise. Awakening strength, mobility, and energy instantly. A return to your primal human blueprint. A movement of humility, rebirth, and power. Not just fitness, a spiritual rite of renewal. Are you ready to reclaim what's yours? Before we dive deeper, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, and give this video a like. And stay until the very end, because I'll reveal the step-by-step path to mastering the perfect squat. Imagine a movement as ancient as humanity itself, as instinctive as breathing, yet nearly erased by modern life. A gesture so simple it requires no machines, no gyms, no complicated routines, only your body, gravity, and pure intention. It is the kind of wisdom hidden in plain sight, waiting for us to remember, almost as if the earth itself whispers, "Come back." And in that whisper lies the beginning of renewal. This forgotten movement holds the key to keeping your body young, agile, and strong, even as the years accumulate. It's not a new invention, it's not a fitness trend. It is the deep squat, humanity's original blueprint for movement and longevity, a ritual of strength that our ancestors performed every single day without even knowing it. A gesture that proves simplicity often hides the greatest power. The true miracle is not outside of us, it is within. Once upon a time, everyone practiced it without thought. Children, without any training, instinctively fall into the perfect squat, back straight, feet rooted, breath flowing with ease. In that innocent gesture lies the wisdom of our design, coded into flesh and bone, reminding us that vitality is not learned but remembered. Their posture is proof that we are born with freedom. To watch a child move is to glimpse our original design. But over time, we stopped practicing it. What was once natural became uncomfortable, even impossible for many. Modern life, with its chairs and sedentary routines, replaced instinct with stiffness. The body forgot its primal language, and the more we forget, the faster we age. Losing not just mobility but the freedom hidden inside movement. Neglect slowly transforms into limitation, almost without us noticing. And every forgotten gesture becomes another step toward fragility. When the deep squat disappears from our lives, the body begins to compensate. We use our hands to rise from a chair. We bend our backs instead of our hips. We shorten our steps. Independence slowly fades, and with it, confidence. What begins as a small adjustment becomes the silent architecture of aging. The price of forgetting is far greater than the effort of remembering. And the longer we wait, the harder it becomes to reclaim. Aging does not begin with wrinkles on the skin. It begins when movement becomes rigid, when fluidity vanishes from our gestures. When the body forgets the language of motion, true aging begins. Quietly, subtly, but inevitably, reshaping the way we stand, walk, and interact with life itself. To lose fluidity is to lose the rhythm of life. And when rhythm fades, vitality begins to slip away. And yet, the power of the deep squat lies in its simplicity. One movement engages glutes, quadriceps, hamstrings, core, and spine. It opens the hips, knees, and ankles. It awakens circulation and even aids digestion. Like striking a single chord that resonates across the entire instrument, this gesture harmonizes the whole body. A small act, but one that awakens the entire system. The body remembers, even when the mind has long forgotten. It is more than exercise. It is a silent song of vitality, a practice where muscles, bones, and energy flow together in harmony. A forgotten ritual that can restore youth, strength, and freedom to every body that dares to remember it. And in rediscovering it, we don't just train the body, we reclaim our birthright. Each squat is a return to the essence of being human. To move this way is to step back into timeless truth. To understand why the deep squat is considered an anti-aging movement, we must return to humanity's origins, to a world without chairs, sofas, or offices. For millennia, people lived in close contact with the ground, cooking near the fire, gathering fruits, resting under trees, and sitting in circles. The deep squat, feet planted, hips lowered, and spine upright, was the natural position of daily life. A gesture that expressed balance and design. Among indigenous peoples of Africa and the Americas, the deep squat carried meaning far beyond utility. Communities worked the soil in this posture, told stories around fires, and performed rituals tied to the cycles of nature. To stay close to the earth was to stay close to Mother Earth herself, a gesture of humility, rootedness, and balance woven into their cultural identity, showing reverence for the ground that sustained them. In Asia, the squat endured as part of ordinary life until recent times. In China, India, and Japan, people ate, conversed, and rested comfortably in this position for hours. Within yoga, many postures that open the hips and strengthen the legs come from this primal design, believed to align the lower chakras and allow prana or chai to ascend freely toward higher centers of awareness, nurturing not just the body, but also the spirit. Eastern traditions regarded squatting as a spiritual practice with deep symbolic resonance. Yogis described it as harmonizing earth and sky within the human form. Descending reconnects energy with the root chakra, the seat of stability and survival. Holding the spine upright at the same time invites the upward flow of energy to the crown, turning a simple posture into a ritual of transcendence, alignment, and humility. Western antiquity preserved echoes of this truth through philosophy and medicine. The Greeks linked health of body and soul to regular movement and discipline. Though they did not name the squat directly, they praised natural patterns that preserved vitality. Hippocrates, father of medicine, affirmed that inactivity destroys the human condition while exercise preserves and renews it, proving that strength lies in consistent practice. Over centuries, modern life pulled people away from the ground and its natural patterns. Chairs replaced squatting and reshaped how humans use their bodies, disconnecting them from the earth. Homes, schools, and workplaces elevated posture, creating stiffness where there had been fluidity. What once was effortless now feels unnatural, and with each generation, the ancestral memory of squatting faded deeper into silence. The contrast is clear and striking today across cultures. In industrialized societies, older adults often struggle with even partial squats, while in rural villages, the posture still survives. Farmers, families, and monks continue squatting naturally, keeping mobility into old age with grace. The difference is cultural, not genetic, for the body preserves what it practices, and what is forgotten eventually disappears. The ancestral squat carries a timeless lesson still waiting to be embraced. Whoever keeps the ability to descend and rise keeps the essence of life and vitality. It embodies humility, resilience, and renewal, training both muscles and spirit in the art of starting again. Each descent is a return to origin, each rise a rebirth, a universal inheritance that invites us to reclaim our strength. Physically, The deep squat is a masterpiece of efficiency, a single movement that activates nearly every system in the human body. As the body lowers, the legs engage fully, the quadriceps fire, the hamstrings stretch, the glutes stabilize, and the core awakens to support the spine. The ankles regain their natural mobility while the hips open, preventing stiffness. Unlike isolated gym exercises, this ancient gesture is a complete circuit of strength and flexibility written into our very design as human beings. The benefits extend beyond muscles and joints. Each descent regulates abdominal pressure and creates a natural massage for the internal organs. The intestines are stimulated, digestion improves, and circulation is enhanced. The diaphragm expands into its full range, bringing fresh oxygen to the bloodstream and energizing every cell. What appears as a simple act of lowering the body is in truth a profound inner workout, renewing the organs that sustain vitality. Traditional Chinese medicine recognized these effects centuries ago. Similar postures were recommended to promote longevity, not because they built large muscles, but because they kept the flow of qi, the vital energy, free and abundant. By maintaining mobility in the hips, knees and spine, energy channels remained open, and the body resisted stagnation. A squat was not vanity, it was health itself, a daily ritual to keep the current of life moving. On a spiritual level, the squat carries a symbolism that transcends physical training. To descend is to return to the earth, to humility, to origin. To rise is to embody renewal, strength, and resurrection. Each repetition becomes a ritual of rebirth, echoing the eternal cycles of nature, death and life, descent and ascent. It is no coincidence that this posture appears in rituals, meditations, and ancestral traditions across continents. The body kneels, but the spirit rises. Emotionally, the posture also acts as a doorway. The hips, long described in yoga and somatic traditions as vaults of memory, often hold unprocessed emotions. By opening them in the deep squat, tension stored for years is released. Some practitioners even report tears or unexpected relief during the practice. It is not weakness, it is catharsis, the body's way of cleansing. Each breath in the posture becomes a sip of energy, each exhalation a discharge of weight no longer needed. Seen this way, the squat becomes more than exercise. It becomes alchemy. What enters as rigidity transforms into fluidity. What arrives as heaviness departs as freedom. The simple act of bending the knees and lowering the hips unites the mechanical, the energetic, and the emotional. Muscles, nerves, breath, and spirit converge into one flowing practice. The squat is no longer just movement, it is transformation written in the body. Another treasure hidden within the squat is trust in oneself, to lower the body without fear of falling, to remain close to the ground with balance, and to rise again with ease trains not only the legs, but also the mind. Autonomy grows from this act. Independence is preserved. For the elderly especially, the ability to squat means the ability to live without constant aid, to retain dignity in daily life. Strength becomes freedom, and freedom is a true antidote to aging. When viewed as a whole, the deep squat is an ancient code of integration. It unites strength and flexibility, organs and breath, energy and spirit, humility and power. To practice it consistently is to remind the body how to live without pain, how to breathe without fear, how to trust gravity instead of fighting it. In its simplicity lies its genius, a single movement capable of weaving together health, energy, and transcendence. This is the physical and spiritual power hidden in the squat. Philosophically, the deep squat contains a teaching far greater than physical health. To lower the body is to embrace humility, to acknowledge that all strength begins by returning to the earth itself. The descent is not defeat, it is acceptance of origin, a reminder that even the strongest are sustained by the ground that holds them. To rise from the squat is to embody resilience and persistence. Each ascent is a declaration of life's enduring power, a gesture that proclaims renewal and continuity. The posture becomes a living metaphor. One cannot truly rise without first descending, and in every repetition, the body rehearses the rhythm of fall and recovery, loss and restoration. Cultures across history understood this universal cycle and honored it. Indigenous peoples linked the squat to ceremonies of planting and harvest, where seeds descend into soil before new life emerges. In Eastern traditions, it echoed the spiritual journey of humbling the self to elevate the spirit. Even in Western philosophy, the idea endured. Strength is forged not by avoiding hardship, but by rising again after descent. The symbolism expands into the very fabric of existence itself. Stars collapse before they are reborn as novas shining brighter. Rivers descend into valleys before reaching the sea that unites all waters. Trees lose their leaves in autumn only to blossom again in spring. The squat, simple and human, mirrors these cosmic truths, connecting the body with the cycles of the universe. In this way, the squat becomes a ritual of remembrance for all. Each time the body bends, it replays the eternal truth that renewal is always possible. To forget this gesture is to forget a piece of life's rhythm and resilience. Modern culture may glorify standing tall, but without the wisdom of bending low, the strength of rising again loses its true meaning. The loss of this posture in modern societies carries deep implications. By abandoning the squat, humanity did not just lose mobility, it lost contact with an ancestral philosophy of resilience and balance. In trading the ground for chairs and comfort, we surrendered a ritual that once reminded us of humility, alignment, and the timeless cycles of being. True youth is not preserved in creams or in mirrors alone. It is reflected in the body's ability to move with freedom, to bend without pain, to return to the earth without fear. Wrinkles may mark the skin, but stiffness marks the spirit far more deeply. To retain the squat is to retain a form of inner youth untouched by time and untouched by vanity. Ultimately, the deep squat is more than a movement. It is a spiritual script written into the very design of the human body. It teaches that descent is not failure, that humility is not weakness, and that renewal is always within reach. Every squat becomes an act of resilience, every rise a symbol of hope, a daily ritual that keeps alive the eternal cycle of renewal and transformation. Knowledge without practice is only half a journey. To truly reclaim the power of the deep squat, one must bring this ancient posture back into daily life. The first step is to begin exactly where you are, without judgment or comparison. If today you cannot descend more than a few inches, that is not failure, it is the beginning of remembrance. Use a low stool or a steady chair, practice lowering and rising slowly, and remind your body of the wisdom it once knew. Support can be a bridge, not a weakness. Rest your hands lightly on a table, a wall, or even a partner's shoulder if balance feels uncertain. The goal is not to force depth, but to awaken memory. Each attempt, no matter how small, is a signal to the joints, the muscles, and the nervous system that the ancient pattern is returning. What begins as an exercise becomes a dialogue between body and origin. Consistency is the secret key. The squat should not remain locked within the gym or reserved for a single practice. Instead, integrate it into daily life. When reaching for an object on the floor, choose to bend in squat instead of folding the back. When pausing for rest, spend a few seconds close to the earth rather than always choosing the chair. At first, the position may feel unfamiliar, but with time, the body recognizes it again as home. Breath is the soul of the posture. Do not rush to lower and rise mechanically. Pause and breathe. Inhale deeply as the hips open. Feel the expansion of the diaphragm, the release of tension in the ankles, the subtle stretch of the spine. Exhale with presence, releasing weight into the ground as if the earth itself were absorbing your burdens. Every breath transforms the squat from movement into meditation, a ritual of life. Meditation can live inside the posture. Place your palms together at the heart, close your eyes, and remain still. In this silence, you may notice stiffness, distraction, even discomfort, but all of it is part of the teaching. The squat becomes a teacher of patience, humility, and balance. The longer you stay, the more you discover that to remain close to the ground is also to remain close to your own center. The floor must become an ally again. Modern life has lifted us away from it, but the path of renewal is to return. Sit on the ground when you read, when you share a meal, when you rest. Alternate between floor and squat, letting the joints rediscover their natural range. Each moment spent near the earth is a moment of training, a moment of remembrance. The more you embrace the ground, the more it supports you. Celebrate progress, no matter how small. Do not measure your success only by depth or duration. Measure it instead by freedom regained. 1 extra second in balance, 1 centimeter deeper, 1 moment of breathing without strain. Each of these is victory. Each of these is proof that the body is remembering its own design. The deep squat is not about perfection, it is about freedom slowly returned. The final teaching is simple yet profound. You do not need to reinvent what is already yours. The deep squat is not a foreign skill to be mastered, but a natural language your body once spoke fluently. By practicing daily with breath, patience, and joy, you restore not only movement but dignity, vitality, and independence. This is the gift hidden in the posture, a return to what has always been within reach. We have traveled from the caves of ancient humanity to the temples of wisdom, from philosophy to physiology. And yet the lesson is simple. The deep squat is not just movement, but memory. To bend is to remember, to rise is to renew, and to practice is to live with dignity. The first step is humility. Start where you are, even if today you can only lower a few inches. Each attempt awakens your body's original code. Every repetition, however small, is victory. The action. Today, sit on a low chair and rise without using your hands. Let this be your beginning. The second step is support. Walls, stools, or even a partner's hand are bridges, not crutches. Use them until balance returns. The action. Choose one object in your home to be your anchor and practice lowering and rising beside it daily. The third step is integration. Do not reserve the squat for training alone. Make it part of life. When you pick something up, when you rest, when you pause, let it be in this posture. The action. Tomorrow, replace one chair moment with a squat, even for just 30 seconds. The fourth step is breath. The posture without breath is only mechanics. Inhale to expand, exhale to release. Feel the body melting into the earth. The action. During your practice, take 3 slow breaths in squat, sending tension downward into the ground. The fifth step is meditation. Close your eyes, join your palms, and remain still. In silence, the posture teaches patience and balance. The action. Once this week, hold the squat for 1 minute in quiet reflection. Make it prayer as well as practice. The sixth step is celebration. Progress is not measured in perfection, but in freedom. Each second longer, each centimeter deeper is a triumph. The action. Keep a small journal and note your progress daily, celebrating even the smallest improvement. And now the choice is yours. You can leave this wisdom on the page, or you can embody it in practice. The deep squat is the most accessible ritual of resilience. No machines, no gyms, only you, the earth, and gravity. Begin today. Bend, breathe, and rise again, for in that simple act lies the secret of renewal.